House Democrats on the House floor, your contribution will go to the DCCC, $15. This one says try giving us 25 bucks, but if you want, you can send us $50, $100, $250, $500, $1,000. Because look at what we're doing on the House floor. Send us money. If this is not a political stunt, then why are they trying to raise money off of this? Off of a tragedy? What they're called for failed in a committee in the House. The reason I call this as a stunt is because they know this isn't going anywhere. It already failed in the Senate. They may not like this fact, but this bill couldn't even get 50 votes in the United States Senate, let alone 60. Why is that? Why is it that this bill failed on a bipartisan basis in committee and this bill failed on a bipartisan basis in the Senate? Because in this country, we do not take away people's constitutional rights without due process. This is not just Republicans saying this. It's groups like the ACLU who are saying this. But more to the point, our focus needs to be on confronting radical extremism. Terrorism is the issue. Let me say it again. Terrorism is the issue. And defeating terrorism is our focus here in the House. So let me be really clear. We are not going to take away the constitutional rights of law-abiding Americans. And we're not going to allow publicity stunts to stop us from doing our job. That's why the House powered ahead last night to provide important resources in the fight against the Zika virus. One of our must-do items on our list this week was that we had to respond to the Zika virus. We know this is something that we have to get on top of. And in the face of this distraction, we passed a responsible bill that provides the level of funding that was in the Senate bill that received a big bipartisan vote with a mix of offsets that we in the House thought were very important. This is a good compromise. It meets an urgent need, and I urge the Senate to take it up and pass it. Now, Democrats can talk all they want. I'm really not sure what their plan or end game is here, but the bottom line is despite these distractions, we did our job. We did the people's business, and we will continue to do so. One more point I want to bring up. I want to say a word about the Supreme Court ruling that we just got that halts the president's executive amnesty. This is a win for the Constitution, it's a win for Congress, and it's a win in our fight to restore the separation of powers. Presidents don't write laws, Congress writes laws. This is a case that the House weighed in on because it's fundamental to our system of checks and balances. Congress, not the president, writes our laws. And today, the Supreme Court validated that very core, essential, fundamental principle.
Two-part question. What were your personal feelings when you were being screamed at and yelled shame? Could not have been comfortable, not even a year into your speakership.
Oh.
Secondly, you have a lot of spirited members within your own conference. Are you worried that this sets a precedent for the shoe being on the other foot, that this could happen now when anyone's in the minority party and wants to prove a point?
I do worry about the president here. I'm very worried about the president here. I have an obligation as the Speaker of the House to protect this institution. We are the oldest democracy in the world. We are the ballast of the world of free people. And so when we see our democracy descend in this way, it is not a good sign. It is not a good precedent. So yes, I do worry. Look, I've been around. I've gotten look, I've done the Iowa State Fair, you know, the soapbox. I have done Wisconsin recalls. So that I am used to. But on the House floor, no. On the House floor, where we have rules, where we have order, where we have a system where democracy is supposed to work its way out in a deliberative, respectful way, no, I did not expect that because I think what we did was we watched a publicity stunt, a fundraising stunt, descend an institution that many of us care a great deal about. So, yeah, I think it sets a very dangerous precedent. Manny.
Speaker Ryan, you pledged when you came in to run a more open House. Last night, the Zika bill passed without sufficient time to review it, according to your own rules. My question. The rules also on amendments for appropriation bills are much more structured now. And on this gun vote, you're not gonna bring this forward for an amendment vote
It already failed in committee.
on the floor, but aren't you essentially undermining your own promises for a more open?
Not in the least. What our members asked for is an open process, but a functioning process. What we learned that Democrats were not interested in advancing the process, they're interested in stopping the process. Our members want Congress to function. Our members want us to do the people's business and to do our jobs. And when the Democrats are trying to stop Congress from doing anything, that is not an open process. That's a no process. That's a halting process. To the point of last night, you think we were going to have a civilized debate about the Zika virus? You think they were interested in coming to the mic and debating Zika? Of course not. They were screaming and shouting over each other. So we were going to get our job done. And our job this week was to make sure that we were giving the authorities, the CDC, giving the vaccination, getting ourselves prepared for the Zika virus. We're going into summer. People are going to be grilling out on 4th of July, and mosquitoes are going to be biting people. And we want to make sure that we have the proper response, and that is why we did our job and passed this bill.
Why not just hold the vote like the Senate did earlier this week? It would have taken, what, 15 minutes?
We have a process for this. This is a bill that isn't even supported by a bipartisan majority. This bill, this amendment was brought up in the Appropriations Committee, and it failed there. That's point number one. Point number two, if you want to bring a bill that you can't get through committee, you can do a discharge petition with 218 signatures. They're not bothering with these things. They're looking for publicity stunts. Oh, and by the way, this isn't about making law because the Senate already defeated it. So they know it's not going to law. This is about a publicity stunt and now a fundraising scheme.
But the Senate is looking at a compromise. If the protest
Oh, but let me just back on that. What did I say yesterday or the day before in our press conference? We want to see what the Senate produces. We're looking at this issue. What did I say over the weekend? We know that there is an issue with respect to terrorist watch lists and people attempt to buy guns. We're looking at that. We're doing it deliberatively. We're not doing publicity stunts on the floor. We're actually looking at this issue so that we get it right. Because, by the way, remember what the FBI told us. You get this wrong, you're going to screw up terrorist investigations. You, Congress, overreact and do this the wrong way, you're going to screw up our ability to go after terrorists. So we want to get it right while protecting people's constitutionally guaranteed rights and not violating their due process rights.
If the protests do continue, do you plan to take any further action against Democrats for breaking the rules?
We're reviewing everything. We're reviewing everything right now as to what happened and how to make sure that we can bring order to this chaos. This is the people's house. This is Congress, the House of Representatives, oldest democracy in the world, and they're just sending it into chaos. I don't think this should be a very proud moment for democracy or for the people who stage these stunts. Jonathan.
On appropriations, you're not going to be able to finish the process certainly before July ends. You're going to come back in September. How long do you want a CR to go for? And what are the factors you're thinking going into
I don't want to get into how long a CR gets to because I want to do as much as we can to get our job done. I want to move as much appropriation product through the House floor as possible. And I don't want to start talking about CRs because then that means we're shortchanging the process we're trying to get going.
You're going to have to do a CR.
We'll see. Alex.
Mr. Speaker, why not shut off the lights? Republicans have pointed out that that's essentially what Nancy Pelosi did back in 2008 in order to end debate.
We're following the rules as they've always been in place. As you know, when you're in recess subject to the call of the chair, that's one process. When you adjourn, and that's another process. So we are simply following the rules as they have always been written, and the rules as they were in 2008 as well.
Mr. Speaker, your Homeland Security
Tell me who you with?
Scott McFarland, NBC Pool.
Okay.
Your Homeland Security Committee has ordered an investigation into what's happened at the Department of Homeland Security headquarters. Feds are investigating whether an employee was plotting to attack senior officials there.
Right.
Has your office been briefed on that?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the reports. We want more information, but I am familiar with the reports, and we're waiting a further investigation.
Were you briefed on it, sir?
My staff briefed me.
We haven't had a Trump question.
Oh, jeez. I don't even know. I mean, I've been a little busy, all right? I haven't. Good Lord.
The sit-in has done to you. You've been extremely clear on your thought process about supporting the nominee. You don't want a Hillary Clinton presidency, and how important it is for you as a party leader. You've been very clear about that. I have been wondering, though, if there isn't something